Hey everybody, good morning, good evening. Welcome to another day in Azeroth. Hope everybody is doing fantastic on this Tuesday. We are going to play a little bit of the Rogue today over on the EU realms and see how that's going. Last time we played on the EU realms, it was incredibly overpopulated and it was hard to get anything done. So we'll see if anything's different today. I've cleaned up the inventory as much as I could. I also did a respec, because when I got my free respec with the pre-patch, I went full combat and it just ended up feeling really awful. So I've taken the points that I want in assassination first, and then I went combat, and this is as far as I got. So we will see how this feels, and we'll see if it can't feel much worse than last time. So let's go give it a whirl, shall we? I made a bunch of poisons. We got a new rank of poison. We got instant poison 5. Pretty sure this is the only poison I use now. And the reason I say that is because I don't have any other 5 ranks of any other poisons. This was the only one I was able to train a higher rank in. Yeah, we went from instant poison 4 to instant poison 5. But we haven't been getting any more deadly poison ranks, so I'm just gonna go instant poison on both weapons, and we will hope for the best. Yeah, the US servers are down for probably another hour or so. Because it's Tuesday. This still feels like garbage. Like, the respec didn't help at all. Not on this guy, at least. Maybe that's just because he disarmed us a bunch of times. Or maybe it's because Rogue is one of the worst DPS classes in the game right now. One of those two things. Maybe a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Screw, thank you so much for the membership, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining us. All right, quest done. Are the US servers up yet? Welcome to playing on the EU roams. It's a walking simulator, or a running simulator, or a sprinting simulator. This is why I haven't bothered logging this character in since pre-patch came out. One of the reasons. Wow, World of Walking. Yes. That is certainly what it feels like. Someone, if someone could let me know when the US realms are back up, then maybe we could actually, like, push some buttons and play the game a bit today. It's 10:30 my time. They're supposed to be up by 11 o'clock my time, so I'm assuming they're still down. But yeah, this is crazy. I mean, this needs, like, put 10 more layers. You know, just add 10 more layers. Problem solved. The problem becomes, especially at a high level, there are fewer and fewer places to quest. And so everybody that is questing after level 40, we're all crammed into these really small areas. And it's not like we have a lot of options to spread out in the world, you know what I mean? We're all following the same route. We're all doing the same quest. We're all trying to take the same leveling arc through the zones, because only one pathway exists at this level. There's no alternate zones one can really go to after a certain point. You have to handle things in level order. And your only other option is simply to stand around and grind dungeons. And you just add a bunch of layers and then the problem is solved. And then people can quest. There don't have to be 25 other people here across 2 factions. You could play the game. I'm sure these level 60s absolutely need to be here. You know, for level 60 reasons. On the eve of the Dark Portal opening, it's definitely really important that they are here killing the mobs that leveling characters need. Because, you know, they have stuff they have to get done, goals they want to achieve. What talents do I got? Summon combat. Summon assassination. There's combat. There's assassination. Feel free to pause and cross-reference and pick that apart to your heart's content. Great, there we go. That's better.
This had better be good. Trust no one.
Yeah, they could crank up the respawn rate, or they could just add more layers. In order to do either of those things, someone with the ability to make choices would have to give a shit. Somebody at Blizzard, there'd have to be a person with the power to make choices, with the knowledge of what it feels like to play the game right now, and then they'd have to give a shit. But all three of those things would have to come together within at least one individual working at Blizz who is on the classic team. Since the classic team is like 6 people, and all of them except for 1 or 2 are under the age of 30, then no one cares. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change. Imagine what Hellfire Peninsula is going to be like for the first like 3 or 4 weeks after the Dark Portal opens. Maybe they'll fix it then. Maybe that's when they'll start to give a shit.
What are you looking for? May your blades never dull.
Now we got a new weapon last time. We're gonna have to smack some things to get this skilled up a little bit before we run off and do any serious questing. Because we have no mace skill. Let's use Seal of Crusader and leave that up so we get more swings per minute. And we'll just stand here, and then if we're about to die, we'll just switch out weapons. I'll go over to the axe, and we'll finish them with the axe. But yeah, at the end of last time, we got a new weapon, and we changed our spec a bit. We went into a Seal of Command build, and that's what we're going to play with today. Once we get like 200 skill with our weapon. We have to get close to 175. That's the smallest shovel I have ever seen in my life. It's so tiny. Xerox, thank you very much for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Wayne, thank you for the 16 months. And thank you both for the equal representation of our factions. Very much appreciated. I mean, I feel like I have more health pool, but then again, we're fighting really low-level mobs. I do feel like the armor and the additional stamina are helping. Time will tell what the damage output feels like. Leo, we haven't been going for very long. Started around 10:15 my time today. Was the EU rum super jam-packed? Yeah, it was unplayable. It was unplayable in the sense that if I wanted to enjoy my time, it wasn't going to work out. I feel like Seal of Command is just like complete, utter trash garbage. Because 80% of the time, Seal of Command doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything after it's judged 80% of the time. And then like a small percentage of the time, a melee swing will deliver some additional holy damage. With Seal of Righteous, you get holy damage guaranteed on every single swing. So I'm just having a really hard time understanding why in the hell would anyone use Seal of Command? I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to understand how it makes sense for the ability to even exist. Because I can swing 10 times, and I can deal a little bit of holy damage once. Or I can swing 10 times, and I can deal a little bit of holy damage 10 times. Like, why the fuck would I bother with Seal of Command? What point does it have in the game? Like, I can deal small amounts of damage with holy damage every swing with righteousness, or sometimes I can get a medium chunk of holy damage if I'm lucky and if RNG just happens to roll it. Why would I ever want the RNG? I would say if you play WoW for a month or so and then you feel burned out, like, that's okay. That's not necessarily a problem that you have to solve. That's just something that you're experiencing. Like, you could play less every day. Like, I'd have to know more. Like, are you playing too much each day? Do you just get bored of a certain class? Does the game get too tedious? But ultimately, it's okay to feel burned out of something and then to take a break and just come back to it later. You don't have to have a game that you play every single day forever. You're allowed to get sick of shit. You're allowed to take breaks. You're allowed to feel like, damn, this was fun yesterday, but it just isn't fun today. And you don't have to feel guilty when you feel those things. You don't have to think, well, that's contradictory for me to be having fun one day and not the next. I feel guilt. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're just a person. Like, play the game when it's fun, and when it's not fun, don't play it. That being said, if you're playing for 10 hours a day, or you're playing for 60 hours a week, maybe it's just that you're playing too much. But other than that, it's completely okay to feel burned out and to take a break. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. Or if you want to feel guilty, fine, feel guilty, but it's okay. Why did I get prompted with this as if I'm in a group? That's so weird. I mean, okay. Pendant of Mesriel. Oh, this item begins a quest, and it's also an equipable item. Oh, well, that's cool. You can't force anything in life, but mostly, like, you can't force fun. You can't force yourself to enjoy something. And when you try to force something, you're either gonna bend the key or you're gonna break the lock. That's what happens when you try to force things. You bend the key or you break the lock. Either way, you don't get through the door. Am I good today? I mean, I'm here. Systemically speaking, I'm about as good as I am on any day. Maybe even better than some days, and worse than others. Secube, thank you very much for the membership. I really appreciate that. We are currently questing in the Arathi Highlands. Yeah, Eric, we're not getting any more snow, but it's still bitterly cold. I wouldn't mind the snow as much if we could have like 25-degree temperatures, 30-degree temperatures. Hell, I would take like just teens at this point. And the worst part for me is not necessarily the snow. It's mainly the cold. The inability and the non-existent desire to leave my house, to be outside, to breathe the fresh air. Like I'm mostly just affected by how fucking cold it is. And I've kind of decided, like, I need to live somewhere that stays warm. I need to live somewhere that stays warmer. Even though that might mean I have to deal with other things. Because other things happen, and sometimes those other weather things really suck and you just have to deal with them. But the persistent cold seems to be something that's really, really, really bad for my mental health. Whereas, like, maybe I have to evacuate from a hurricane. Maybe an earthquake happens. And then that's shit that I'll live through. That might affect my physical well-being in the short term. But like winter after winter like this, like I can't go through another winter like this one. And that's what I've kind of been realizing as the bitter cold temps don't abate, as we don't even get back into like regular cold. We're still in this sub-Arctic cold. Like I can't do another winter like this. And it's not the snow. I don't mind the snow when the temperatures are relatively normal. You know, like when it doesn't hurt to breathe outside, when the air doesn't burn your skin within seconds. Alright, we are gonna head over to Hammerfall. This one we just did turns in back in Terran Mill, I think. Oh no, you know what? I think they did it so that it turns in Hammerfall. Okay, well that's good. Hi there, how are you? I do like how we seem to have a little, like, we have a little spin animation whenever we do proc the extra damage on Seal of Command. We seem to have a spin animation, which is nice. Because then I can stop staring at the numbers popping up and I can just kind of wait and see, like, how often we proc that little spin. My instinct is to fight stuff the entire way, but we just gotta go to town and vendor everything. Normally I would just walk and we would just fight and we'd get a bunch of kill XP, but you know, we have a full inventory. And then we also have this turn in here, which leads into another quest. So we can do that on the way. I think we're just about ready for an armory run. We're level 35. And I said I would give it a shot at level 35. Well, that being said, I don't think we can equip the axe or any of the equipment off the last boss until level 37 or 38. I've always felt like the Horde have a lot more questing to do in the Arathi Highlands than the Alliance. Even though they both have a camp. I just always felt like we do more here on the Horde side. We go after raptors for eyeballs a couple different times, or for eyeballs and hearts. I think we do something with the spiders. Alliance side, you don't do anything with the wildlife. I don't think you go after the wildlife for any of the quests on the Alliance side. We have 23 out of 25 quests in our log. Oh my gosh, I'd love to pick up all these quests. It seems like all this stuff is like in our range. Level 33, level 32. What do we have going on that I could potentially get rid of? We never turned that in, that's fine. This one I have to hang on to. Voral's Revenge, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is maybe somebody in one of the Scarlet Monastery runs. Panther Mastery, a Sacred Fire we didn't do. Encrusted Tail Fins. I think these come from Stranglethorn. They used to be an elite quest. It's not elite anymore, obviously. Goblin Sponsorship. Let's just drop that one. Let's drop that one. There we go.
What you want, TBC?
What do you need?
Who you be?
Yeah, I think this is where you do the triage quest on the Horde side. I don't know what level you have to have first aid at. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I'm anywhere close to that yet. I still have books to buy and all that stuff. We got to get like 225 or something before we worry about the triage quest. And since I am a healer, I really haven't been worrying a lot about my first aid.
What can I do for you?
Because I am a lazy person. What can I say?
Strength and honor. Strength. What do you need?
What do I need? Bigger bags. What will I settle for? You buying all my junk. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now I want a quest here, I think, but I wouldn't mind doing a dungeon. So I am going to go AFK for a sec. I'm going to refill my coffee, I'm going to bio, and then we'll see if we can find a group that wants us to tank for armory. And after that, we can do the questing here, and we should be in pretty good shape level-wise. let's see what we've got. Well, we have a few tanks. I'm just gonna hang out in queue, and if somebody wants to invite us, they can. In the meantime,
Relax.
we will just do some quests. Let's see. This one's the highest level one we have. Let's go after Raptor Eyes. We can make our way down to the troll area, actually. That's the lowest level quest we have, so maybe we just beeline it for the troll village. Kill whatever raptors we come across along the way. Or we just get an invite immediately. 2 pallies. There we go. Pally, pally, pally. Let's make sure we do an all pally run so that everybody needs on all the loot. We got 2 people in Undercity, so we're gonna let them handle summons, and we're just gonna keep fighting stuff. Oh, you know what, though? Ooh, I really, really don't want my Hearthstone set to ground goal. Let's be smart. Let's go back and we'll bind the Hearthstone back at Hammerfall. Because when we finish the run, I want to be able to come right back out here and resume questing, if that's what we want to do. Don't really think I want to go back to Stranglethorn right now. No, Stranglethorn can definitely wait a while. Those quests are not going anywhere. And then we have to remember, by the time we hit level 38, we have to start thinking about going over to Dustswallow Marsh. Ton of new stuff for us to do over there.
Well met. May the eternal sun shine upon you.
Well, that was a couple of really huge crits. We got like a 380 crit off the white swing. We got a 400 crit off the holy damage proc. Well, that must have been some synergy between Crusader and Command. But you know, how often does that happen? I don't know, but it was pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. It almost felt like a Wind Fury proc. I mean, Wind Fury has the same problem. It's cool when it happens, but sometimes you get into a rut where it feels like it's never proccing, and then that ends up feeling pretty bad. Alright, here we go. What would I say is the best class for newbies? There is no one class in the game that's the best for new players. In reality, the best class is going to be the one that you like pressing the buttons the most. The one that you feel the most comfortable on. The one that you relate to the class fantasy if you're a person that likes to get immersed and like into your character. There is no one class that I'd recommend. What I'd recommend is you try a few different classes before settling on one. Also put some thought into whether or not you like to be up close and personal with enemies or whether you like to be at a safe distance. And then try out some classes that kind of fit that. Read the class descriptions and see if any of the class fantasies really strike you as interesting. But I would never try to prescribe one class for all new players. There's too many options in the game and people are too different for that. Armory? Yes, we're doing armory. Ooh, I don't know. You know what I don't think I ever did? We did a bunch of library runs. I'm not sure that I ever looted the key from the end of library. Or maybe that's not a thing anymore. I don't know. Righteous Fury needs to come on. We need to do some blessings here. And we're missing one of our mages. We are... There we go. There he is. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. The other Pally gave us Blessing of Sanctuary, so that's really nice. I appreciate that. I'm gonna start with strength on myself. I'm probably gonna end up having to give myself Blessing of Wisdom, though. Inevitably, that's... Yeah, see, already we have 0 mana left. I've already used all of my mana. Like, I'm not gonna be able to Seal Weave here. I'm not gonna have... I don't think I'm gonna have the mana to Seal Weave. It's gonna be too tedious to drink after every single freaking pull. We're just gonna have to make do mainly with auto attack. So bad. Take a class that it could be really fun. It could be really fun to tank on the Pally, but instead you're just all the time. And I can no longer hold threat either. That's the other problem. I think my weapon is so shitty, that's probably why I'm not holding threat. My weapon is pretty old. Unfortunately, to get a new one-hander, I have to kill all the bosses. Oh, I don't have the mana to consecrate. Boo-hoo. I guess everybody gets threat now. I wonder if I should just go two-hander. Like, I can't hold threat anyway. Does it even matter at this point? I wonder if I just go two-hander, maybe I can deal enough damage to hold some threat on one or two mobs. I just don't think I'm hitting hard enough with the one-hander. It's actually really pathetic. Warriors don't have any of these problems. Pally's bad in Classic. They're not bad, they're just bad at some things. They're bad at some things at some times. One of the things they're bad at is tanking, especially at a low level. They're just not good leveling tanks. It gets better, but you have to get into like the level 50s. In the meantime, they're bad, yeah. In the meantime, they're bad. Well, I didn't pull all that shit, so somebody else did. Really nice. I hope the mage can kill all of it. That's really our only hope. Yeah, it looks like he's got it. We'll just let the mages can just solo the dungeon, basically. Why don't they just come in here on their own and do it? They clearly can. These are just the in-game frames. These are all in-game options. You got to go into edit mode. You got to click on your frames. You have full control over what they look like, where they're at on the screen. You can adjust their width. You can adjust their height. You can adjust power bars, class colors, all that stuff. And then the aggro display is just by default. But it's all in your edit mode. Why is it so hard to recruit people for a guild? Do I have any takes? No, I've never been a guild leader. The last time I was recruiting people was like 14 or 15 years ago. So I have no idea. I don't know if without experience any of my speculation would have any merit. Guild leaders in chat, what do you think? Why is it hard to recruit people? I'll just hide back here and, you know, wish I had a healer. That'd be cool. It's hard to recruit people because people are people. Yeah, exactly. So all sorts of reasons. You know, anxiety. Like, who wants the stress of applying to a guild? Who the hell wants to apply to a guild? I don't want to apply to a guild. I've never applied to a guild in my life, and I don't know that I would. I'd probably just play guildless before I'd, like, fill out an app and go to an interview. Like, who wants to do all that stuff? Just so what? So you can be shit on by strangers for, like, your gear not being optimized, or your logs aren't any good, or God forbid you don't even have logs. No, fuck that. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to deal with it, because nobody wants to treat this game like a job. And when you have to apply for a guild, it's treating it like a job, and a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people will just skip that whole experience. And there's nothing chill about raiding in WoW. There isn't anything chill. You put a bunch of people into a raid together, they're basically strangers. It's not going to be chill. And people know that. People know there's going to be drama. People know there's going to be loot drama and mechanics drama. And all kinds of other drama that comes with human interaction. And some people just don't want it. That's another good point. At this point, everybody who wants to be in a guild is in a guild. Yeah, they got into a guild before pre-patch, or like they got into the guild after pre-patch, but like basically right now, anybody who was seriously interested in a guild for TBC has probably settled into one place or another. Or they've decided to hell with it and they're not bothering with it. So that it could be timing, you know. It's a lot of different things, I'm sure. It's never, the answers to these questions are never going to be one thing. And if you're looking for one answer, or the ultimate answer that answers all answers, then you're going to be looking forever, because there simply isn't anything like that. Since you're dealing with people and their proclivities, there's going to be all kinds of reasons why it could be hard for you. Maybe your spam post sucks and you just don't know it, you know, like could be anything. But it doesn't matter. You'll either find people that you need who fit for what you want, or you won't. Even if you knew the answer of why, it wouldn't necessarily solve your problems. If you pull it, you tank it. That's my new motto. You pull it, you tank it. I'm not chasing you. I'm not struggling against all hope to manage to pull it off of you. If you pull it, you can fucking tank it. If you don't like it, stop opening up with Blizzard 1 fucking second after a tank pulls. Oh, we don't have the key. Oh, I never grabbed the key out of the library. Usually one of you guys reminds me to do that, so I will just blame chat. I'm blaming you, chat. We did a bunch of library runs. We never grabbed the key. Super big fail. Oh, he's only level 37, that's not bad.
Ah, I've been waiting for a real challenge. Blades of light. Light, give me strength. Blades of light.
There we go. He dropped the Berserker helmets. 13 strength, 8 stamina, and increases your crit rating by 14. Can't be equipped to level 37. There we go, that's one piece down. What'll happen now is he'll drop that helmet every single time we fight him. I've had that happen before. Where he drops the helmet, we get the helmet, and then every single time after that he'll just keep dropping the helmet. Happened on one of my warriors. I don't think I can run this again today. At least I can't. I definitely can't run it back to back.
What can I help you with? For the Horde.
Can a ret pally roll on leather gear? Depends on who you ask. If the stats are right, and the stats are better than what you have, then sure. Is it polite of you to roll on it over, say, a rogue, or a druid, or an enhancement shaman? It depends on what the stats are. Like, for instance, if you're rolling on leather with agility on it, then you're a dummy. And you should let the rogue or the druid or the enhancement shaman have the agility leather. If it's agility leather with strength and stamina on it, then you need that. And, you know, you're free to roll on it if you so choose and equip it. Does that mean that you're going to make everybody happy in your group? No, of course not. You can never make anybody happy. What you can do is just don't worry about it. If you think you're going to use the gear and you think the gear is right for you, these are strangers in a video game. You don't have to care that your party doesn't like that you rolled on the gear. You can simply roll on it, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. But if you're rolling on agility gear, then you need to stop, because you don't need that. Yeah, you want to stack strength and stamina. Those are your main stats if you're trying to go ret. Strength and stamina. Some people would say, you know, you could have a little bit of intellect for your mana pool. I say go straight strength, stamina, attack power. And then you can roll on whatever has those stats. 1 second, guys. Okay, apparently it's just one thing after another right now. I'll see if I can just ignore the entire world and keep playing my game, which is what I'd like to do. I just need the world to leave me the f*** alone. Alright, we are done with these quests. Let's head north and we'll continue going after the raptor eyes. Well, first, my son's phone was ringing non-stop just a second ago. Obviously, he doesn't take his phone to school or anything like that. I have his phone during the day and I typically charge it. Unfortunately, one of his friends is school at home. And what school at home seems to mean for this individual is that they should call my son during the middle of the day over and over again, even though my son goes to a school and is not in fact home. And like, kids are not taught like any kind of fucking etiquette when it comes to like how to communicate with each other. Like, I talk to my kid about stuff all the time, but other kids apparently don't know. So they will literally call the phone over and over and over and over and over, and they'll leave message after message after message, and I have to be like, stop calling, stop messaging. He's not going to answer. Just stop. Be normal. Like, call once. What I tell my son is call once, leave one message, and then wait. Don't contact the person again until they call you back. You call one time, you leave one message, and that's it. You don't ever call somebody again and again and again and again. You don't ever send message after message after message. Where are you at? Why aren't you answering? Are you home? It's like these kids learn these shitty communication behaviors from their parents, and then they interact with my kid with these shitty behavioral patterns, and then my kid gets roped into behaving the same way, if not for me having daily conversations about it with him to like, hey, don't emulate that behavior. That's unhealthy behavior for anybody at any age. To ring someone's phone again and again and again and again and again. When you have to have the idea, listen, they can't answer the phone or they're not answering the phone right now. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious, and I'm realizing it's only going to get worse, but I literally will have to tell these kids, like, stop. Stop calling, stop messaging, he's not here, he's not answering. Because otherwise they won't stop. I guess if I was smart, I would just turn his phone off during the day. That would be the smart thing to do. But like I said, I like to just plug it in and let it charge. Our slash plate is 2 days and 2 hours. So just about 50 hours. 50 hours at level 35. Ooh, is that right? That seems like a lot. Yeah, 2 days and 2 hours, 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Well, damn. That's actually more time than I thought we had put in. Leveling, it turns out leveling is not that much faster. It's not that much faster. There are like level brackets that will feel smoother, but it's still going to take lots and lots and lots of time. I think we're still looking at 110 hours, possibly 120 hours to get to level 58. That is it for Raptor Eyes. We're going to continue on to the farm over here. We're going after 10 Bloodstone Amulets. After that, I think I'm going to save the level 37 stuff for a return visit when we're a bit of a higher level. We'll finish up this one. If we get any follow-ups that are green or low-level yellow, then we'll do those. If not, then it might be time to head back to Stranglethorn. That's stone tokens here. I still don't really want to revisit that area. That area was really obnoxious, and then the graveyard was just in a horrible place if you happen to die there, which dying in that spot seemed very likely. Level 36 stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I guess either way we're looking at level 36 or level 37 quests. And once we get back to Hammerfall and turn everything in, we will probably be level 36. We're looking for one Sigil of Strom. It's like a random drop, I suppose. Maybe we can shoot down and do this one. It's no doubt there will be a follow-up. Those used to be elites and, you know, I'd always skip them. But now we can do them. Put fiery weapon on the shovel. I wish I could afford a fiery weapon. Between the mats and the tip, it's about 13 or 14 gold, and I do not have 13 or 14 gold to waste on an enchant, unfortunately, because I am broke. If you have no money on a server, I feel like it's always better to level a caster first. Because a caster's not going to be gear dependent, a caster's not really going to care about their weapon enchant. And so if you're broke and you're going to be broke for a long time, play a caster. And then once you have money, then roll a melee. Because you really need money to make sure you have good gear, enchants, and stuff like that. No, I don't have a guild here. I'm just playing by myself. I don't have any friends. I don't have friends and I don't have a guild here, and I don't know if I would want help anyway. That guy is back there taking pot shots at us. I didn't realize I aggroed him. Did I ever figure out what the tokens are for? Which ones? The Mark of the Syndicate? I don't think these are for anything. There were tokens we were getting in Stromgarde once upon a time on the Rogue, and those were something to do with Ravenhold rep. But I don't think these tokens here do anything in particular. I think they're just a lore item. How'd the dungeon go? We got a helmet out of it. Unfortunately, we can't equip said helmet until we are level 37. But yeah, something to look forward to, I guess. I really don't want to fight the warlocks because I'd rather not have to deal with the void walkers, but we might have to. Let's see how painful it is. It's not bad because we can use exorcism on the void walkers, which is pretty nice. What's my first aid at? It's capped at 150. I never bothered getting any of the books or anything like that. Oh, at some point I looted the item. Yeah, we have 1 out of 1. I didn't notice looting it or anything, so that's great. Because our inventory's full, and I'm running out of water. And it's probably a great time to hearth out of here. Yeah, let's hearth out of here. Oh, we got 13 minutes. We can't do that. We have to run out of here. In that case, let's get out of here. Thunderstorm, thank you so much for the membership. Welcome, and thanks for being here today. Nemo, this is Dream Scythe US. Am I doing the pre-patch for retail? I mean, I checked out the Void Demon Hunter. I guess they're adding some questing and some kind of event this week. I haven't decided if I'm going to check it out on stream. I'll probably check it out like on my own no matter what. I just don't know if I'm going to stream it. It depends on what it is. I mean, the pre-patch event for the War Within was pretty stupid. And I burned myself out just mindlessly leveling characters through it. And I'm sure it's going to be more of some kind of mindless grind for catch-up gear or something that I don't need, you know? If there seems like there's decent story there, then maybe I would do like any story quest, but I don't think I'm going to bother with it. I'll probably just check it out on my own. And the next time that I do any retail on the channel will probably be the playthrough of the Midnight Story quest.
How you doing, man? Better. Be seeing ya. See ya later. Okie dokie.
Some. For the Horde. Speak. Victory!
Hello, man. Be seeing ya. Spirits.
I talked about it a little bit the other day, but when it comes to their events like that, like their pre-patch events and even things like housing to a certain degree, it just feels like they create work for you to do in the game. They're just like, here's some work to do, grind up some catch-up gear, level some like I don't want to log into the game and do something that just feels like work. And I become more and more convinced that the only thing the retail developers can do is design systems and design gameplay that feels like work. And if you're really lucky, it feels like meaningful work. But even that only lasts a while, because ultimately it's not very fun. Anyway, I'm gonna go bio, and then I think we might try to do Mode of Misriel and go after the Raptor Hearts. We could probably do all this stuff while we're here. Not the orange stuff, but at least the level 37 and 38 stuff. Yeah, when you're trying to do something that's supposed to be fun, and you start to acknowledge that what it actually is work, you're going to burn out on it really fast. There's no way not to. Because you probably already have to work as part of your daily life, so why would you want to log into a video game and do what equates to more work? Even if the work is somehow meaningful or enjoyable, it doesn't mean you want to do more work. You'd probably be happier just doing something that was purely fun, purely enjoyable, purely play. But corporate employees, oftentimes, they're not concerned with play. They don't play. And they're probably not having a lot of fun. But what they are doing is they're working. And so when they design stuff, they kind of emulate the exact same thing that they do. They create work. And like I said, if you're lucky, they create what feels like meaningful work. They trick your psychology into thinking, hey, this is work, but it's meaningful. I feel rewarded and gratified. If you're lucky, it feels that way for a while. But I don't think any of them really know how to play, and I don't think any of them really understand what play is supposed to be. And so we just end up with more and more chores to do, more and more work to do. More and more we're just focused on like some kind of imagined outcome, instead of being focused on just having a great time and seeing great stories and having great adventures. We're always working at something. Work, work. Oh, look at that. We can actually do this quest because I have mining. I wonder what skill we need to get this. We must be like right on the cusp. We're only at 101. There is a quest for this. But we don't have the quest. The quest might be a pickup from Booty Bay. And I don't know how much we need. But I'll just grab a bunch while we're here, and then with any luck, we'll just be able to turn the quest in whenever we pick it up. We need 10 ore. Okay. Cool. We're already up to 6. How's the new weapon feel? It feels fine. It feels like we're doing okay damage. Am I planning to watch BlizzCon this year? It depends on if they do any kind of live stream stuff. I'm not going to stream it, but I'll probably watch it. So it's, BlizzCon's not until September. They're doing some kind of state of Warcraft or state of Azeroth thing on the 29th. I don't really know what that's about, but it seems to be some kind of like pre-BlizzCon announcement thing. Or maybe they're just gonna chat about things currently going on in the game, I don't know. Oh, we are so fucking dead, I think. Go ahead, pull this guy. Talk to him. No, you didn't get him? Okay, cool. Let's blow lay on hands and try to do line of sight. Yeah, classic. Just the expected stuff. There's not going to be any surprises at BlizzCon. Whatever you would expect, that's what you're going to get. Not going to be any shockers. And like most things, you know, we'll have all the details long before the event happens. Someone will leak something at some point, somehow, somewhere. And we'll know all about everything that's going to happen before we get to BlizzCon. I mean, why pay for anything? Why pay for anything? I mean, you're gonna get information the day of. Like, creators are gonna be posting stuff day of. There's gonna be day of interviews and day of posts, and Wowhead's gonna have every single thing that happens as it happens in real time. There's no reason to pay for information that you're gonna eventually get anyway. Did I see the Classic Plus project? An interesting idea that Blizzard is going to completely ignore? No, I don't know what that is, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't care either. They don't have to, like, look at anything. They can just make a game that they want to make, you know? Like, when Blizzard steals shit from other games, people bitch. And when Blizzard doesn't steal shit from other games, people bitch. Like, what do you want? Just let them make a game. Just let them make the game they want to make, and if you don't like it, well, don't play it. Go spend your time doing something else, because people will complain either way. You know, if Blizzard looks at some things and they steal some ideas, people are like, oh, they can't come up with their own ideas. All they do is steal from other stuff. And if they don't take other people's ideas, people say, oh, Blizzard never takes any good ideas. They just try to stick with their old ideas, and their ideas aren't working. It's like, no matter what the fuck they do, they're screwed. So just let them make the game they're gonna make and either play the fucking game or not. Who cares? There's lots of games out there to play. And yes, that's what I imagine everybody on the forum sounds like in real life. When Blizzard wants to float ideas by its player base, they send out surveys. So they already do all that stuff. You know, they probably collect a lot more data and a lot more ideas than you would think. The point of it is, they're just gonna make whatever game they're gonna make. That's how games should be made. Games shouldn't be made by committee. Games shouldn't be made by a yay or nay vote or a tally of votes for different features. Because a game is not just an amalgamation of bullshit features that people vote on. A game is a piece of art. And the only way it can be a piece of art is if people are left to actually create the game they want to make, whatever they have a vision for. You know, whatever ideas come to them as the creators of the game. Like, that's what art is. When it becomes art by committee, it's no longer art, and it's going to feel like trash. And so just let them make a game, and then if you like the game, play the game. You can give input once they've made it. They're not going to listen to all input, obviously, because a lot of input is garbage and biased. But then you decide either I like this game or I don't. Like, that's how game development should be. Developers should make a game. It's not a committee decision. They make the game that they have a vision for, and then you play it, and then you decide if you like it. How many? Oh, we need 2 more ore. Let's prioritize getting these ore before I completely forget, and then we wind up having just like 2 short. Let's try to find this one around the corner. Used to have demos so you could try out games first. Well, but what you didn't have back then was dozens and dozens of YouTubers, streamers, people playing the game. And nowadays, you don't have to buy a game. You can go watch somebody play it, and if you like what you see, you can give it a shot. And that's something that we didn't have back when we had like game demos. Is you couldn't just go on Twitch and watch 27 different people trying the game out on day one. You had no idea on day one whether the game was going to be good or not. And if you did, it was from a media outlet, you know, and they're biased and they have their own opinions, and you don't always share values. And so, yeah, nowadays you go watch somebody, and if you like what you see, play the game, and if you don't, then you don't have to spend your money. It's even better, because you get to do that day one. God, we are so dead. Oh, there's a big potion. That's what we needed. You don't need games journalists to tell you if games are good anymore. You don't need OpenCritic or Metacritic. You don't need demos. Just go watch somebody play it day one. And then you'll know right away, like looking at it, is this something that I would bother trying? Or do I think this is absolute garbage? You know? That's Mithril. Mithril is not what we are after. Here we go. This should be the last of the bloodstone ore that we need. Oh, I didn't burn out on healing on my Pally back in the day. I just couldn't heal anymore because of Legion. And eventually I just kind of got away from the idea of healing. What keeps me away from healing is like I like healing in a guild. And I like healing 5-mans, but I don't really want to like pug raids as a healer. It's kind of miserable. I don't think I burned out on healing. I just couldn't do it anymore. As soon as Legion introduced the AP grind, I couldn't power up my weapon enough to be the main healer of the guild anymore. And that was it. And then I just fell out of it, you know. I tried DPS for a while, eventually stopped playing the game. And when I came back to Classic, I just didn't want to jump into the same old stuff. I didn't want to jump right back into a healing role, and I eventually just didn't. It's been a while since I've healed anything. And I would have been happy raid logging on my Holy Pally forever. But Blizz kind of ruined that for me. When they made it mandatory to get onto the game every single day and do World Quest, then they stopped the game from being a game that I could play. Because I was someone I could raid log and I could play for like, you know, there'd be a day where I could play for like 4 hours outside of raid, but I was really busy at that time. And raid logging had been fine for years. I was able to log in on raid day, do the raid, and that was it. If I couldn't get on the rest of the week, it wasn't really a big deal. And as soon as the Legion era started, you couldn't do that stuff anymore. Nowadays, the game is a chore that you have to get on every single day. You have stuff you have to do every single week, and if you don't do that stuff, you're just not going to be relevant. What did I think of the Paladin class order hall? It was fine. I liked it. I didn't read a lot of the quest back then. That wasn't during a part of my life where I really was reading quest or cared very much. It seemed cool. I liked it aesthetically, and I loved my artifact appearances and stuff like that. It was all good. But as far as like, was the story good and stuff like that, like I really don't know. Because I wasn't reading quest back then. Guys, unfortunately, I am out of time for today. I'm unfocused, and I'm out of time. So I'm going to call it right here. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't really know what we'll be doing. We'll probably be right back here. I think we'll probably just be right back here, and we'll just keep playing the Pally as long as that's fun. And we'll just see how that goes. I've kind of given up on trying to play on the EU realms right now. EU realms are unplayable during prime time. I feel bad for anybody who can only get on during prime time on the EU to play, because you just can't get anything done. And it feels very, very miserable. So yeah, we'll probably be right back here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and for all the support. I really do appreciate it. As always, take care of yourselves out there in the real world, and take care of each other. And we'll see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.